Hey, welcome everybody. We have got an exciting episode today on Let's Develop. We've got Level Up Your Business with Mario and Tom Munoz. I am so excited for these guys. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We've got an awesome layout this season coming up for you. So this is a webinar program, and we just bring in some of the top photographers from all over, and we just have them share cool information with you. So every 2 weeks, we've got a new amazing expert that's coming in, sharing information with our community, and this is all coming to support you guys. So if there's something that you want to know, make sure that you're letting me know so we can track down some of the industry leaders and people that we like to hear about. Want to give a shout out to American Color Imaging, ACI, for putting this on and helping make this possible. Now, if you happen to miss the last one, Headshots, a process-driven approach with Mike Price, you're going to want to check that one out. It has a ton of information. You could probably watch that replay like 3 or 4 times and get something new out of it every time. He's got so much information that he shared on there, and that is live on acilab.com/let's-develop. You can find this little thumbnail here that says Headshots, and you'll be able to watch the replay that's coming up on that one. So for those of you that have never joined us before, this is a webinar one, which means that you can ask questions, and we're going to actually have live Q&A. So if you do have questions, put them into the chat off to the side, and at the end of this program, we're going to go through and we're going to be answering all of your questions. So if you want to know more about how they've done something, anything like that, this is the time to do it. So put those questions into chat. Also, be sure to stay until the end. We do have some prizes and giveaways from ACI, as well as a special offer that you're not going to want to miss on. So let's look at Mario and Tom Munoz. So for those of you that are not familiar with them, I'm pretty sure if you're in the PPA or WPPI world, you know who these two gentlemen are. They're 4th generation photographers. They started in when I think they were at like 7, helping their dad with stuff. They are 2 of the most international award-winning wedding photographers in the world. PPA Diamond, they got to have all that bling when it comes there. First, second, and third place in the wedding album category. Like their list of accomplishments just goes on and on and on. And they're going to be sharing some awesome information with us today when it comes to leveling up your business. It's not just wedding photography, but we're looking at that complete approach. You want to say hi, guys?
Yeah, how are you guys doing today? Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I'm really excited for all this content that we've got. Like, I know you guys have put a ton of time and effort into getting everything kind of honed down so we can keep it in such a short format that's on here. You ready to dive in?
Let's do it.
All right. So let's start in with your information. It's all yours.
All right, so I guess we're going to jump right into it. All right, so thanks again to ACI for having us here today. We're excited to share with you how to level up your business and how it's going to work for us in our company. But first, I'd like to kind of go through and thank our sponsors, all of them, not just ACI. We have levelupyourlife.com, new Level Up system, Sony, Graphy Studios, as well as Nanlite. So really quickly to kind of explain what we're going to be going through today is we're going to be explaining how we kind of created a circle of life of photography for our business. Where we can remarket to the same clients that we have to increase profitability in sales and to be as effective with your time as possible. However, before getting into that, I'd like to share with you our story. So for us, we're a 4th generation family business of photography. We didn't begin photography as a passion. It began as a business, so that gave us a different perspective. And kind of looking at photographers who began as a passion, we're almost envious. We didn't fall in love with photography until later in our career. But fortunately, growing up in the industry, our father wanted us to learn this as a craft to provide for our family. We're primarily known for being wedding photographers. And I'm sure that a lot of people don't know that actually that's probably about 30% of what our company does. We are a school photography company as well. We run a commercial production company. We, School Picture Day. You almost name it and we do it.
Listen, we do passport photos in our studio. We grew up in a business of photography that, our parents didn't have the luxury to turn away any work. So pretty much anything that came into the office, we specialized in. And let's just say that attitude kind of spilled into our lives as photographers. And we just don't like doing things average. So anytime we add something, we want to be the best at it.
So really quickly, we're gonna be sharing with you today how to pretty much create clients for you to be their photographers for life. Kind of what we've adopted in our business to turn into one of probably the highest grossing photography studios in the country. Okay, so let's go ahead and just jump right into it. For us, starting off, the easiest course to remarket to our current clients was obviously as wedding photographers, was to remarket to families for when they began to get pregnant and began to have babies. So
that's what happens when they get pregnant, they actually have babies.
Yeah. So looking through, you're able to, the easiest and most effective marketing that you will try to do, show your current client base that you do photograph babies. One of our initial issues that we currently had, or not currently, but we used to have, was as wedding photographers, we were only showing our wedding work. And when you do that, you're going to end up with clients who don't know that you do babies or maternities. So number one, you got to start by doing that and showing off what you're trying to promote yourself, as well as offer promotions. So one of the things that we did was offer every wedding that after the wedding was over and you delivered the album was, hey guys, your baby photos are on us. Your first baby shoot or your first maternity shoot. So those are good little tools to kind of take with you.
Well, another thing is you're going to want to planning in your clients' minds that you are not just their wedding photographer. So, yes, the next transition of what most people do after they get married is they end up starting a family, but it isn't just that. So make sure you have good samples of your family portraits, your baby stuff, but also your business stuff or any of your corporate stuff, and just let them know that you're a photographer, not just their wedding photographer.
So there's two reasons why we chose to enter the school photography business. One is diversification, second is scalability. Diversification helps when things happen that are out of our control, such as a pandemic or recessions, as well as being able to scale your business provides the ability for you to be able to live to work, not work to live.
How did we get our first lower school? Probably how a lot of photographers got their first lower school. They got the school where their kids were going. That is exactly how we got our foot into the door, literally, was just like we do with our wedding clients and letting them know what we do. One of the things that's important for us is we try and let everybody know what we do. So when, because we're so well known in our area for high-end weddings and high-end portraits, when we show up to the school as, a parent and we start to say, hey, we're interested in this, the school, you just got to almost wait for the opportunity and the preparation to meet. And, as far as our under schools, that's exactly how it happened.
Yeah, and I would say that also when we did come into the school that, for example, the one that my daughter goes to school at, we came in and set up a meeting with the principal and said, listen, we are going to be able to provide a better quality service than the current photographers are providing. They were a national company. They weren't giving attention to detail. They didn't have that family approach. So when you're coming from the position of we're going to provide a better quality product, as well as my kids go to school here, I care about the photos, I care about the families, you create a different perspective for the school. So and for us, there are two different types of schools. You have public school and you have private schools. Yep. We, based on our business model, we want to work more with families that are in private schools, because the families that tend to spend money to send their kids to school tend to spend money on their photos usually. All right, so our approach to servicing a school. Okay, so our approach to servicing a school is obviously pretty simple. Do things the larger volume companies couldn't do, provide a superior quality product, memorable experience for the students and staff, bring coffee and donuts on school picture day to the teachers. That's something that, my uncle did, and I never found value in that. However, until we started bringing donuts on school picture day, that the teachers actually were excited for school picture day because they knew that we were bringing donuts to the school. So our main goal is not for sales from school picture day, believe it or not. Our main goal is kind of going back to the main principle of this entire, little project we're sharing with you, is to impress those families, because those families at those schools are going to be your future clients if you service the school correctly and keep everybody happy. And through that is by proving that you guys are not a typical school photographer, that you're not, these huge national companies that only care about what they're going to order on that particular day. We care about the relationship that we're building and what we're creating for the families. So branding yourself, obviously not as a school photographer, is very important. Showcasing marketing collateral for the higher end family portraits. Tom, if you'd like to explain.
So what we did for our lower schools is we provided a really high-end Christmas card. Actually, it was a Christmas card that ACI actually does in-house, and we printed it on their high-end pearl paper. So when the families got their packages back for the pictures they ordered, they were given this Christmas card with a promotional offer depending on the school. Some got a percentage off, some got a free session depending on what we arranged with them. And what we found is we were able to convert these people that we were just doing these, smaller mini portrait sessions into a family portrait, which then, from there, it's into kind of whatever the circle of life brings you to next.
Right. So that is one way to brand yourself differently than a bigger company, as well as, we offer things like creative spring photo days and expression days. So not just the traditional child sitting with their uniform, to make it a little more creative, and then you kind of showing the families that you do, different stuff. So
high schools now, okay. Just like our parents said, when you have bigger kids, bigger problems. Right? The same thing goes for schools. You have bigger kids, you have more challenges, and there's more requirements that those schools have, a little bit more maintenance. So you're going to find when you're working with the high schools, you're going to be working really closely with the yearbook lady and the staff and getting the files that they need for administration purposes as well as the yearbook. So
to kind of follow up what he's referring to, try not to make it about, once you meet with your first high school, and I'm sure that a lot of your questions are, how did we get our first school? And that kind of breaks down to going to our own alma mater and our high school that we went to in the area. But a lot of the questions are about the commission check and about, what are you going to give this school? That's what you're really initially going to be fighting when it comes to high schools. And we kind of want to divert that attention into what we can provide as far as quality, as far as value.
Really, it's important that the families get good quality photos. But when it really comes down to it, the people making the decisions at the school don't care that much. More so, they care about having someone that's going to make their life easier, right? So one of the things that we were able to provide that, let's just say, a national photo school company wouldn't be able to do is we were able to come in and do their commercial branding. We were able to service them and handle all three departments rather than working with three individual photographers. And how did we get the first school? Same thing. It was a relationship that we had, and then the timing just kind of worked out that it wasn't the right time. It was the right time for us to be able to get it.
Also, for our wedding assistants, we ended up hiring high school students to be our assistants, which actually was a really great way to get in the door with our second high school. So once we employed actual assistants and brought them into the culture of our company, they ended up becoming advocates for us to meet with their new principal, and that's what really landed us our second school and our third school and our fourth. So to kind of cover some of the services that we provide to those schools, my brother covered some of that. We do, school picture day, sports teams and individual portraits, candid sports photos, the school events, prom, commercial content, senior cap and gown, which is really what we're going to get into is kind of the cream of the high school portrait. So kind of going through school picture day. Tom explained to you a little bit about what we did for the marketing collateral from lower school, which was those ACI holiday card printed on pearl paper that we stuffed in with every one of our clients' order forms. For the high schools, we wanted to do something a little different. We wanted to impress more than just providing a flyer. So what we decided was to we contacted our t-shirt company and said, we want to order 6,000 t-shirts for every student at the school. And we also want to give them backpacks, drawstring backpacks, and hand sanitizers. And it started getting a little carried away. I think we spent for the first school in marketing collateral $25,000 or something crazy, which Tom wanted to kill me for. However, but the most important thing was I knew that was going to get their attention. But
I got my attention.
But we have to have a call to action, right? So what's the call to action? So what we ended up doing was we contacted ACI and said, what is the nicest presentation that we can provide? So we didn't just have a vellum holiday card photo. Yeah, we wanted to show these families what we did. So we didn't want to get just and say we're a school photographer that we shoot weddings. We wanted to show them the entire gamut. So commercial, business headshots. So we actually did a double-sided card for the high schools. We actually then even printed an invitation for every single family on a separate card with gold foil that said, congratulations on the new school year. As a thank you for Munoz Photography, we'd like to provide 30% off your family photo session with a QR code on the back. So, it was incredibly gorgeous. Printed in this pearl, even the envelope was nice, and we put I think I ordered a hot wax stamp with our logo branded on it, so when we closed it, and I think I don't know how long did that take us to do 6,000 of those?
Yeah, well, a lot of pizzas ordered to the studio, and a lot of people were staying late at night, but it did get done. But going back to what Mario was saying, the goal really wasn't what we could make on the picture day itself. Is we have this audience. What can we do to impress these families and let them into our family, into our business, show them what we can do?
Yep. So we're going to be playing a slideshow for you of a time lapse of one of our high schools. I think this is.
This is St. Thomas Aquinas. We have it's 2,200 students that we're going to have done in approximately 4.5 hours.
Awesome. Enjoy, guys.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Gives you kind of whiplash.
Yeah. Especially when you got to set up 4 systems with 3 lights in each system, make sure that every one of them are dialed in within 1/10 of a stop, and make sure that all the channels are all set up. It's a lot of fun, especially when you're trying to do that at 6:30 in the morning when you're running extension cords 200 feet. Now, sports teams and individuals. So besides the underclass day for the yearbook, we come in and we photograph the teams. Now, we try to level up the experience and the expectation of what they're getting from their team portraits. I find that a lot of these schools are using literally local, like their moms and dads and people are doing some of these team shots. So when you come in and you bring a strobe and you're able to drop in a background and have some creative artwork done where you can do these senior banners along with when we're going to the events and we're doing the candid photos for the yearbook, we're sending out amazing event photographers capturing candid moments that look like they would be, on the cover of the local paper for, that team winning or that person winning MVP. So we want to give them these wow images in their candids as well.
So if you realize everything that we're trying to provide for our schools is to show that the quality is better than they're currently getting. So not only is it getting the school contract is great. However, that just got you into the game. You can lose a school contract in 1 year very, very easily. So staying consistent and always pushing the envelope and wanting to provide a better product, wanting to increase. I mean, one of the things that we even told one of the schools is, and we came in and said, we'll help educate your yearbook team on how to photograph.
I think Mario's really tapping in on just a fundamental mentality is when you walk in somewhere and you can ask yourself, how can I help? What you're going to find is you're going to open up people to want to help you. And so instead of walking into the school saying, what's in it for me? If you walk in and say, how can I help? And from your heart you believe that, you're going to find out that you're going to get better cooperation with them handing out your flyers. You're going to get better cooperation with the coaches in scheduling. You're going to get better cooperation with the administration. So keeping that core value is super important.
Speaking of that really quickly, what he just said, it didn't even hit me until he just said it, but that we actually adopt that same core value in every aspect of our business. One of probably the most lucrative parts of a high school is, whether you believe it or not, is the senior portrait, cap and gowns, tuxedo and drapes. So that was something that getting into was, some photographers only do that for schools. We're doing everything for these schools. So we wanted to make sure that we were capitalizing on everything that we could. So to give you an idea of dollars and cents, our average sales from our in-studio senior portraits were $300 to $400, right? We decided that it would be better if, instead of just having the students come in and be photographed, that we wanted to be able to have them view and order that day. I don't know about you, but if you're ever in Disney World, you probably make purchases that you otherwise wouldn't have done later.
Yeah, no, I'm not getting home, going on Amazon and looking for Mickey ears. I'll tell you that. No, not happening.
Right. So when the parent comes with, and that's one of the things, is we make sure that the parents are here with their student or with their child when they're doing their senior portraits, because they're a part of the experience. So now we've made it so that our workflow provided the photos to be ready within 15 minutes after each session, where we have a sales rep that is actually meeting with them to view and order that day. So the first year that we serviced our schools, we were really excited that we had that $300 to $400 sale. And then we started thinking, how can we move forward? How can we impress the families, bring more sales to the equation, right?
Like, I think really it comes down to, necessity is the mother of invention. We also were fighting a cultural difference, being in South Florida, that we do not do senior lifestyle sessions. Typically, the high schools don't do them like they do typically up in the South or in other areas of the country. So one, we had to change the culture, and then two, as we tried to change it, we ended up getting into a pandemic where the only thing available was these high school portraits, and we said, hey guys, since this is the only thing we're able to do right now, why don't we give everybody a lifestyle session rather than it being something that we charge for?
I want to back up a little bit for what he just said. So, we began photographing high schools before the pandemic, and the first year that we started, we charged for these lifestyle sessions. That was the big aha. Like, let's offer a downtown portion after they did their in studio, where we could increase our sales and provide that different experience. Well, what we found was the clients that went downtown ended up spending $750 to $1,250 on these photos. So initially, the mathematician went in my mind said, "Oh my gosh, we're doing 1,200 seniors. That could be $1.5 million. However, charging $150 for a session, saying it's discounted, we only ended up doing probably 75 sessions that year. So we were a little disappointed, And then the next year, we decided to discount it even further, and we charged $75.
Well, it wasn't just the discount, right? We actually changed how the experience was. We created a promotional video. When they were coming in, we had displays of those. We tried to show the pictures from the people from the year before. So things build on one another, right? So then we started, the photographer in the shooting room was saying, hey, have you seen what we've done in the lifestyle sessions? So
right. It became a combination of trying to continue to refine the wheel and see what works. And what ended up working for us was a multiple of things. It was the guy in the studio being able to say, hey, you're going downtown, are you going to do that session? It was us getting to a point that we decided, hey, you know what, maybe we provide the session a part of their in-studio portion and say that it's included. So what we found was now we're doing a few hundred of these sessions, where the first year we were doing 50 to 75, and yes, we went into a pandemic, which I don't know for any of the wedding photographers out there, but if you were
it was a little scary.
It was a little scary, right?
Yeah.
But going back to why this diversification and scalability of why we got into schools has turned out to help us it gave us the ability to actually generate revenue when we couldn't shoot weddings, when everyone was locked down at home. People were still doing their high school senior portraits. Yes, we adapted with masks and being safe.
Yeah, we were going to people's homes. We were doing all that kind of stuff, the porch sessions and stuff. But now things are kind of back to, normal state, and we're looking forward to this summer.
So continuing with this circle of life. So how do we graduate to get those high school seniors now to wanting to do family portraits? So one of the things that we decided was, let's create a VIP program. So we got these this card company that made these metal business cards, and we created this Munoz VIP Gold program, and we gave the photographers that were downtown and said, listen, when you have a mom who's really excited, ask her, hey, when's the last time you did a family portrait? And if they say it's been a while, give them a card and say, listen, I'm going to invite you into this program, and normally it's a $500 entry to this, and I'm going to give this to you as a gift. And we ended up taking all of those cards and turning a $1 to $2 metal card into a few $100 family session, which would turn into a few $1,000 portrait sale. And that kind of led into the next stage of connecting with people.
Right, because what happens when seniors graduate? They go bye-bye. So what do is we pull on the heartstrings of the family and be like, I know how much you love your children, but they're leaving the nest. This is your last opportunity to do family portraits before they graduate high school. And yeah, they're going to have opportunities to do that later when they graduate college, but still we're just talking about the high school right now.
So if you really look down to it, what we've really created here is a kind of sales funnel, let's call it, right? So you start with your high school seniors, then we moved our way down to our lifestyle sessions, and out of those lifestyle sessions, we moved them down to family sessions. At those family sessions, we ended up deciding, well, you know what, for our commercial side of our business headshots, architecture,
productions,
all of that, who is there that you're going to be able to connect with, the mom and the dad, so now you're able to be at a personal level after the family session's over and say, what do you guys do for a living? Oh, yeah, I'm a realtor.
Yeah, we had a mom actually invent these Lucky Bars because her child had autism. And when she came to us, she said, you did our son's both of our son's bar mitzvahs. Could you please help me out with some of the commercial work? So we were then able to help that mom with their event to move right into helping them with the products that are on the shelves at the grocery stores right now.
Very cool. So obviously that's how we kind of adopted into the commercial production side. And I don't know, for all the wedding photographers out there, we sometimes call ourselves like either the MacGyvers of photography or more like the Marines, because being a wedding photographer, you've gained a skill set of being able to adapt quickly in multiple situations.
Well, and create stories, right?
Correct.
That's really what it's about. And I think to be successful in the commercial lifestyle world, a great wedding photographer has, I think, an advantage over a traditionally trained commercial photographer, because we first learn to work with the environment, the challenges we have.
Yeah.
So what we find is we move a lot faster than most photographers because we were trained to. So, here's some examples of some of the commercial shots that we've done for like Margaritaville and their restaurants and their water parks and all of their like movie theaters and other amenities that they offer at their properties, which is an amazing property. You ever have the time to stay there? I definitely would.
Yeah, but what we're going to do is also kind of explain really quickly is, how did we get this commercial project? What we did was, being wedding photographers, we were able to tell them, this is something that, yes, the developer of the actual project was a client of ours who kind of took a leap of faith with us, said, listen, I know your guys' work is incredible, but you guys are wedding photographers. You do family portraits. Or can you guys handle this? But also we chose that, if they're going to take a leap of faith, we brought in the best videographer in the world to handle our cinematography. We hire the directors, so we educated ourselves, as we do everything in our industry, to be able to not fail. as well as with the mentality of saying we are going to be able to move faster. We're going to be able to move much faster than a typical commercial production company. And so I'm going to share with you guys.
I think what you really touched on, and I think it's kind of the theme of how we do things, is when we say venture into a new area that we don't have experience in, we always look for guidance in people that are experienced and successful in that world. Like when we started the high school seniors, when we were dealing with the flows, we went to the Romagueras. When we came to the commercial productions, we worked with our friends that did that and gave us insight so we could take our skill set as like warriors or MacGyvers of photography, but actually apply it in this world and really do something unique. So
I like the word warriors. Anyway, so we're going to go through and show you one of the commercials that we ended up producing for the Margaritaville. So I hope you guys like it. You might see here that there's a really attractive
they had
family.
a low budget. They had a low budget on the models, so we had to, do what we can.
So they actually asked my family and I to be models for the project. So we didn't really get paid a lot of money for that. So it's all right.
Margaritaville Resort, Orlando, offering upscale amenities and friendly, genuine island-inspired service. Luxuriously appointed cottages within walking distance to Island H2O Live Water Park. Poolside activities, and more. The mega resort destination in Kissimmee, Florida. The ultimate one-stop shop for dining, shopping, entertainment, and hotel lodging for travelers and locals alike. Margaritaville Resort, Orlando.
Well, I hope you guys like that commercial for Margaritaville. Like I said, awesome property. If you ever have the chance to be in Orlando, it's a great place to be. All right, so now let's move on to the next part. So engagement sessions. Obviously, if you're doing someone's wedding, you're probably going to have the opportunity to do their engagement photos.
But let me back up real quick so you can kind of feel it. So let's go back to that circle, right? So we went from weddings to maternities to babies to schools, from schools to lower schools to high schools back to families. And these senior portraits that turn into commercial projects, these seniors now going a few years later, what's happening? They're graduating from college and they're getting engaged. They're getting married. So that's where it kind of brings back this circle of life. And now, if you do high school seniors, you now are on a yearly basis like we are, creating a catalog of 1,200 new potential leads in 4 to 5 years from now for future weddings.
Well, another thing is how many people really, when they go to do their high school senior portraits, before they look for a wedding photographer, how many times are they exposed to a wedding photographer, right? We're probably the first wedding photography studio that these high school seniors actually see. So we're able to make an impression before they even get married or even meet their person or even go to college of, hey, they were the best in the world. Why? Because when they walk in the studio, that's what it says on the wall.
Right.
So
and you're collecting data by doing this. So, again, as we refine and we continue to refine, and we're still refining, it's always about trying to improve. And obviously data is one of the most important things in our industry now and in our world. So you're getting the most valuable data of future leads. So let's get into now our engagement sessions are occurring. What's the next thing from being engaged? Boom, you're back to the beginning for us. You're back to weddings. So we're going to share with you really quickly, now that we're back to the weddings, is how do we market to our weddings? Social media today is probably one of the most influential sources and the cheapest way to advertise. So Facebook, Instagram, here's a few quick tips for you guys on what works for us. Obviously, everything is different. We have the tendency to speak in absolutes, like this is the right way. Forgive us. It's just how we speak. So
right, and even though this might be the least expensive out-of-pocket number amount that you can equate, this is probably one of the most expensive things that you're utilizing is your time, right? So as the wedding photographer, what we have found is if we utilize our time wisely and we're picking images the night of the event to have ready the next morning, right? Rather than sitting there and going through your catalog and going, oh my gosh, look at the pretty job I did. You go, okay, what's the best images? Now let me get to editing those. Now let me get those prepped for the following morning so we can share with our vendors, so we can tag the property, so we can tag the couple.
Right. If you guys follow us on Instagram or Facebook, you'll see that the morning after our events, we are already tagging and sharing photos from the event the night before. Sometimes it's a handful, sometimes it's 10, 5, 15. Regardless, what you're doing is you're showing the world that you're busy. You're now tagging these individuals who now are able to see, and all of their friends see, who did their wedding photos, and it just creates this entire circle coming right back to you. So for us, the faster that you share your photos, the more organic reach you're going to get. And I think that applies for everything. I think it applies for even family portraits, you name it. Also, be sure to be friends with your bride and groom so you can tag them. That's super important. What we found is tagging from a personal page compared to a business page gets more organic reach. Yes, post it on your business page as well. However, Facebook, Instagram, or let's say Meta nowadays is their new name. They're a pay to play. So they want to, if you're a business, for you to pay for that reach. Where if you have a personal page, keep that personal relationship going, and then just repost your business page for the gallery. Instagram stories, that's something that we've implemented now that we have these images and we have these photos done. Share that on Instagram as well. So you're hitting two different. I know they're the same platform, but two different avenues rather. We use Buffer to roll out our posts. So what we end up doing is going through and selecting months in advance of all of the images that we want to be laid out. It takes a lot of time, but we create these beautiful color palettes to have aesthetics for your Instagram that actually live on your feed. So if this is something that is going to be the new future of marketing, it's not just word of mouth. It's not just what the venues say. It's not just what the caterer says. So try to spend, like he said, the time and be as efficient as possible. So we're going to share with you actually an album that we had entered this past year at Imaging USA, and we just entered it at WPPI. So it was one of the highest scoring albums at Imaging USA. Unfortunately, they don't do a top 10 anymore, but we'll see how it does at WPPI. But I'm very excited. This was a wedding at Mar-a-Lago, and I got to do it with my brother here. So hope you guys enjoy.
Wow, that was impressive, guys. Holy cow. Like, There is so much information on there. I know I'm not alone when looking at it. People are definitely going to have to go back and watch the replay of this to try to pack in all of that information. But you guys did an amazing job of kind of curating it from start to finish and kind of illustrating how that circular aspect goes in your business. Really, really well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, kind of fun. So now we are at the question and answer time on this. So if you do have any questions for these guys, put them into chat right now. We'll be reviewing those in just a moment. But wow, I'm just kind of blown away. So one other thing wanted to kind of know about your level up system. Can you guys tell me about that? You'd mentioned at the very, very start of this that kind of ties into the title of this program as well. What is the level up?
Well, the level up system is something that we helped create, and it actually it has revolutionized how we're doing our portraits in our studio, on location, and at our weddings and events. So what we can do is a demo.
And as well as with our schools. So one of the things with this system, and you can go to levelupsystem.com, LVLUP system, SYSTEM.com.
I'll send it out in the follow-up email.
So what it does is it actually helps the setup and breakdown. I don't know if any school photographers are out there, but that's one of the biggest, I would say, pains is your setup and breakdown. So let's before we'll show you a quick little demonstration. But let's get any questions if anyone has out there before we do.
Yeah. So got a question from Carolyn. How many employees do you guys have?
Sheesh. I think we're at around like 36 to 37 full-time employees now.
Oh boy.
Wow. And so are they all photographers, support staff, or how does that work?
No. So we have photographers, we have photojournalists, assistants, we have office managers, we employ social media content creators. So we got a big staff, and I think I mean, we didn't start off like that. We slowly but surely grew and grew and grew. And one of the things that I learned at a very young time was if you are doing every single thing in your business, you're not actually able to work on your business. So some of the things that people probably look at us as we're overzealous for all of the different aspects of business that we tackle, but it's because our time is being invested the right way.
And one of the things that is different with us is we've been in the industry for 30 years, right? So we've been able to have the time to get into, we've been able to have the opportunity and the time to see the market change, see the industry change, and also diversify ourselves as photographers. Because let's face it, if you've only been in photography for a few years, you're probably only getting into one niche. But imagine 30 years and we're under 40 and we've been working in a professional industry. It's just a part of the growth.
Very cool. Next question from Moses. Do you do your own editing for all your different categories of work since you have so much volume?
So yeah, so we actually trained our staff how to edit. So I would say Tom was probably the first color corrector processor in Munoz photography, probably going back 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's like 65 years old. Yeah, so Tom actually trained the staff to, here's another thing, and I know I'm going to get off topic a little bit, but for your business, you should know, and again, this is our opinion, how to do every aspect of your business and be the only individual in your company that can do that. And that's how you build a business, and you being the only person knowing and not training competitors as employees, so knowing how to process and knowing how to edit gives you the ability to understand how to direct your employees on what is a good edit and what is good processing and good color. So,
yeah, it's just very difficult, even if you're using an outsourcing company. If you don't know what the standard of quality you're trying to meet, how are you going to be able to tell someone?
That's really good point. Question from Mikkel. Can you explain your workflow for us? Is that a loaded question?
It's a very complicated question. So
what
workflow?
Which workflow is really and I can get nerded out on this. So I'm looking at that.
He is a nerd.
Right. Mikhail did not specify which workflow, so maybe take your choice on that one.
So I think with developing a workflow is you want to understand what the final goal is. If you're someone that's delivering files, or if you're someone that's delivering physical product, you want to make sure that your time in your workflow is being utilized to get you to that point with the best quality with the least amount of steps. So for us, let's just say our wedding workflow, the night of the event, we pick the images, we send them to our editors. And then after we send those, say 10 to 15 images, we then upload the entire wedding to Dropbox that is syncing on a server that is here at our office as we're uploading. So then the following day, when the editors, when they finally get uploaded, roughly around 24 hours later, the editors now can start editing locally here at our office or remote logging in, because we have people that are working for us that are living in Chicago. So we have a pretty involved server, and we have our own IT person to give people the ability to log in and work remotely.
I think Tom could probably do an entire seminar just on workflow. Again, I want to kind of back it up and say, if you're editing and we call it culling your images and processing your own events, I would say probably the most fundamental, important thing that you should do is back up your files to Dropbox. And, that's something that we do. We download on a local hard drive that is backing up over a couple days. So you immediately have redundancy on your files. That's number one, probably the most important thing.
Yeah. So just listen how many copies we have. We have on the card. We have on the backup card in the camera. We have them locally on our computer at home. Then we have them on Dropbox. And then they're also locally on our server, which is rated. So within literally 24 hours on average after the event, there are 7 copies of the event. And then when it gets uploaded, it goes to Pixie Set and so on.
So that's impressive. Good thing you stopped with 7. You'd run out of fingers there soon. Yeah. Too many backups. I don't know if you can ever have too many backups on that one, though, huh? So right now, that's all the questions that we have. Do you want to do that demo for your lighting system? And then as soon as we do that, we'll see if there's any more last-minute questions that we have. Then we'll give away some prizes and a special offer. So give us that demo.
All right. So to make things simple, I'm going to have my brother here, since he's so good looking and people hire him to be model, that we're going to probably use. We're just going to use him.
I'm glad he finally admits it. All right.
So just to kind of, can you drop your head, big guy?
Yeah, I'm going to lower this a little bit.
There we go. So to give you kind of an idea of what we have here, we have a diffuser panel that the light's going to be shining through, and then we have this reflector panel.
Are you guys able to hear him?
He's a little bit quiet, but we can kind of make out.
All right. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you how we're going to change the lighting effect on Mario. So Anthony, let me have you get in a little bit closer. Perfect. And watch how we can change the quality of light.
So one of the things that with the diffuser panel that it provides is actually an enormous light source. And as far as you pull your, so one of the things I don't know if we really got into too much was that we switched all of our lights in our studio to be continuous. So you're able to pull your light back, and we use the NAND light, the NAND light 4s, 300s, and 500s, depending on what we want to utilize. By pulling your light source away from the diffuser panel, creates a bank of light that, depending on if it's a portrait headshot or a family group, you get from head to toe coverage, and it's incredible. And then having this reflector wall does the same thing.
So can you kind of describe what's happening? We can just see a close-up of you. So is there a diffusion panel to your right or camera left? There we go. Okay, the wide shot, we can see what's happening. And that's just straight up diffusion with a constant light that's going through it?
Correct. And it doesn't have to be a continuous light source. It could also be a strobe. But what we've realized is we've actually switched all of our lenses, and this is probably going to blow some people's minds, including our wedding lenses, from the Sony zooms to actually all primes. So
another
they don't hear you over there, buddy. And so
Thank you.
I'm going to go in the demo. Another advantage of using the diffusion panel, and what you can do is change the size of your light source, which you can change the quality of the light. Not the quality as in good and bad, but quality as in what is it performing, right? So I can make it much more dramatic, and see that how I have now a hard shadow, right? And then to soften it up, all I do is back it away. And then I just created a much larger light source. So it's kind of like having a bunch of softboxes all in one. And the only thing you need to do to change the size of it is move it closer or further away. And then you can control your shadow, either having it dramatic, you can bring it in, having it a little bit more flat. And then if you wanted to change the quality of the fill.
So I don't know if you guys can hear him too well when he gets behind the panels, but pretty much to break it down really simply is it allows you as a photographer to be able to have, to be able to see exactly what you're getting. And that's one of the reasons why we use the continuous lights. And if you're thinking about scaling your business and hiring other shooters, it makes training your photographers much easier as well. So, we're really excited for people to be testing this out. It's actually, we just literally are launching and I mean, we took some pre-orders. We're probably going to be opening up probably in the next couple of weeks where people can go ahead and go to levelupsystem.com and take a look and see where they are. But thank you guys so much. If anyone has any other questions, shoot away.
I've got a quick question about the level up system. So is this just saying you can do complete portrait lighting with one light via using the diffusion, reflector, and a background? So it's a simple and consistent way of doing that? Is that what?
Yeah. So the answer is yes and no.
Oh, okay.
Yes, the answer is it gives you the ability to use one light, which is going to be a tremendous value add for school photographers. Imagine at a fraction of the cost being able to take, if we were using 4 lights for
using one light right now.
Right. Yeah. We're using 4 lights for our school setups. Now you can, for a fraction, buy 4 of these systems and now do 4 setups, less than each one of those lights cost. Then it also, for your studio, yes, you can use one light. You can get a little more creative. There's endless possibilities of how you're able to utilize the system,
because essentially it's an old world system. It goes back to the old Dean Collins way of lighting, the old Hollywood way of lighting, where you're using panels and shoot through to create natural lighting effects. So having the to diffuse light, bounce light, shape light, redirect light, so you can have a simple 3-panel system with a background and a reflector and have, all you need to get a great quality portrait. Or you can use 2 diffuser panels with 2 lights to get that edge rim light, to get something a little bit more dramatic. So I think it's more of a tool. And what makes it unique isn't the concept of diffusion or the concept of reflecting light. What makes it unique is this has never existed before in a system that is practical to use and set up. I mean, it breaks down these 8-foot walls. If you go on the other side of that panel, Mario, there's a bag right there. If you want to grab it.
Sure.
So literally that 8-foot wall gets put into a bag like this, where you bring 2 of these in a background and your studio is set up within a couple minutes, which isn't possible to do with 3 lights and softboxes and light stands. And it's really saves us a lot of time.
Yeah. Or if you're a school photographer, you're now walking into a school with 3 bags that you can walk in with. So saves time, saves money, which I think all of us care about. And that's kind of one of the reasons why we helped develop this, and we're super excited. So awesome.
Cool. Well, thank you for giving us a sneak peek at what's coming. I will make sure that in the email that goes out that there's a link to that. So if you want to learn more about it, and I'll also be including your guys' contact information. So if anybody wants to get a hold of you and learn more about that or about your other stuff too, they've got a means of doing so. So let's give away some cool stuff. What's that?
I said thank you, and we love ACI. Thank you guys for always being tremendous partners, helping us get our job done.
Yeah, so thank you, ACI, for making this possible. And they do have a special for us, too. So you can get 20% off of one order with ACI Flex. That does expire. Oh, I have the wrong date on there. That's not today that it expires. That's on March 8th that expires. So be sure to, that's in 2 weeks for those of you keeping track, or March 3rd. 2 weeks from today when our next episode is when you're going to want to do that. There is some stuff that can't be used on. Read the fine print. It's also in the follow-up email that's coming out too. But yeah, save some money by doing that. Also want to let you know we do have some cool shows coming up. We've got artificial intelligence and how that can help your photography workflow, looking at print competition pitfalls, and how to sell painted portraits. So adding something new to your lineup. So those are all kind of cool things that are coming there. I'll put that code one up there because we're getting a question on what that is. Be sure to, holy cow, the code is wrong on this as well. Check the follow-up email. I don't know why that didn't get updated, but the follow-up email will have that code on there, and I will look that up in just a second and paste it in the chat too. So after we end, if you hang out and look in the chat, I'll have that code on there as well, because that code is not correct. That's on there. So sorry about that one, guys, but let's give away some prizes and start with a $50 lab credit to ACI. So going to come up and see who this winner is. Hey, Sylvia, congratulations. You've won a $50 lab credit to ACI, so that's pretty awesome. Up next, we've got our next prize, and that one's going to be a $75 lab credit to ACI. So let's see who that winner is. Hey, that's Kim that just won. And Kim, when you register, you just put Kim. So you'll know it's the right Kim if you've got Haven as part of your email address. Somewhere in there is that. So let's go in with our last prize that we have now. And that one's going to be a $100 lab credit. And let's see who that winner is. And it's Lori. All right. Well, that was a lot of fun today, guys. Thank you so much for the Tom and Mario. You shared so much great information. It was really, really cool. You're just off to your next project already, aren't you? That's how it works by running that multi-million-dollar studio. You got to be go, go, go all that time. So I want to thank you guys. If anybody does have ideas for future episodes or a speaker or content that you want, my email address is up here, hello@cwooley.com. Your suggestions are how we find the speakers and the content that we want to have on this program. So yeah, if you've got ideas, make sure to reach out. All right, everybody, that's officially a wrap. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate your time and energy. Cracking me up all the time. All right, have a good night, everybody.